After completing the Cummins swap on my 80 series landcruiser, I've added 2-inch heavy lift coils in the front to compensate for the extra weight of the Cummins, as well as a 30mm spacer to help with the leveling. I've sort of pieced together this whole lift kit as I've been considering what type of weight I'll have in the rear, the front, and how I want the suspension to cycle. In this video, we're going to be installing new shocks in the front and rear, as well as replacing the rear springs. These are the new springs and they're a lot beefier than the original ones, and they're gonna give us about 2 inches of lift in the rear, which we need because we're now running 37s. We want that extra room to articulate. This is a stock front spring for comparison, and the windings are a little bit further apart, and these are definitely not rated for the weight of the Cummins. These are the lightest 2-inch lift kit for the 80 series landcruiser from Ironman. They're rated for 0 to 440 pounds of added weight in the rear. On this particular build, I'm not gonna be going crazy with a whole lot of weight back there, and these naturally have a little bit of rake from the factory, which is the opposite of squatting. I plan on having a drawer system and then a rooftop tent eventually and a rear swing out bumper. So that is actually a bit of weight, but from having done these a couple times, there's always a little bit of discrepancy between front and rear, especially with the weight of the Cummins. The first thing we're gonna do is take off the wheels, get a couple jacks underneath the axle, lower it, and then install the shocks and springs. So let's go. All right, well, the rear is finished. We've got all of the coil springs and the shocks mounted to the rear axle housing, and it looks a lot better. I've actually went ahead and measured my hub to fender clearance all around, and the passenger side is sitting a little bit higher, especially the rear passenger. Now, I'm thinking that this has something to do with my panhard being pulled too much on the frame side because I'm using the OEM one in the front. So I think that's twisting the truck like this and creating 26.5 inches of lift from hub to fender in the rear passenger, which is fine. I expected that. We just got our Ironman adjustable panhard rod in the mail, so we're going to install that next. But we have a lot more clearance in the rear wheel well, which is what we wanted. This driver's side being sitting the lowest, 24.5. So next thing we need to do is pull this thing around and get the front shocks installed, as well as the adjustable panhard. This is what an adjustable panhard looks like, and it has this big lock nut here, and this side will thread in or out depending on if you need to lengthen or shorten it. In our case, we need to lengthen it. This will center the axle, and it should actually take some of the lift out of the rear. So let's get this pulled around in the garage and see if it makes a difference. All right, well, the lift kit is finished for now anyways. There's still some things we gotta finish, but this will work for the time being. So let's take a look. All right, 2-inch lift kit installed. Passenger side definitely looks like it's hanging up a bit, or it's higher than the driver's side, but that's fine for now. I think I know the issue, and if I can't figure it out, I'll just add some 30mm or 20mm spacers to the driver's side. But I think it looks really good, and more importantly, we have enough clearance on our wheel wells in the rear now to tuck these 37s. It's the cool thing about these trucks too, is that you can fit 37s with a 2-inch lift, which is pretty cool. Things I need to do are getting a new tie rod or drag link. I forget which one this is, this front one, so that I can bring the front axle over, because right now, it's hard to tell on camera, but the driver's side is tucked in because of the lift, and I just couldn't quite get these bolts that will allow it to loosen up. So instead of replacing the tie rods, I'm just going to get a full new one. And again, the passenger side one is a little bit higher. It's like an inch higher than the driver's side, but that's fine for now. Then in the rear, we're going to need to get some sort of a pan-hard bracket that allows the mount on the driver's side to be extended up, because we've got a little bit of an angle now. That's really not as atrocious as the one I had on the white 80. But yeah, starting to finally come together. Swing out bumper soon, as well as rooftop tent's gonna go back on it. And then we can take this thing hopefully out to Montana and do some trips out there. Super stoked. It's looking really good. It's coming along nice. 5th gear's fixed. Feels good. Yeah, looking mean. That's gonna do it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. And next video, we're gonna be fabricating our own sliders so that we have some protection on our rocker guards here. And we're gonna make it out of some 120 wall Dom tubing and a Harbor Freight tube bender. We'll see you in the next one.